Hello, 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 hello. Hi. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing today? How is everybody doing today? It's Friday. It's Friday. Heck yeah, it's Friday. Who here doesn't love Fridays? I love Fridays. You love Fridays. We all love Fridays. How everyone? Ooh, that's why that hurt. Okay, so we got to make some room. We got to make some room. Hello, Dr. Nick. So, I went flying yesterday. It didn't go good. For those that watched the member stream yesterday, if you're wondering how the flight went, it went really good. I put together an RC plane on stream yesterday on the member stream. So if you want to see cool stuff like that in the future, consider becoming a channel member or a Patreon supporter. But we built an RC plane on the stream yesterday and did a bunch of testing with it and had some fun. And then I took it out last night to fly and it went really good. Let's use this completely ambiguous Haribo to simulate what happened. So I took off. I threw the plane, throttle up, I threw it, and I actually managed to fly it around. I did a left turn, I came around, and I landed. And I was actually pretty impressed because, like, I can't do quadcopters unless I'm in FPV. I cannot fly stuff unless I see from the point of the thing. So this doesn't have a camera on it. So I flew it freestyle, I guess, with just my Mark 1 eyeballs. And so I was like, okay, cool, I landed it. I'm like, okay. Takeoffs are the hardest part because you have to like launch it. So I launched it and then I turned, and this time I went the other way. The problem is when it was coming back towards me, I tried to turn it around and I got because I was flying towards me, I got it all backwards. And instead of doing a nice little and curve, I went and down into the ground at full speed and it blew up. Thus the Haribo being eaten. So it hit the ground and then it exploded. So hooray for E6000 because I'm gluing it all back together. Nothing we can't fix with glue. Good old glue. Good old glue. See? Back together. For now. For now. You can live there for now. So we will put you all back together, maybe at the end of stream. Gotta let the glue all dry. Get 1, 2, 3 blocks. Seriously, if you do not have 1, 2, 3 blocks in your inventory of things you should get, go buy 1, 2, 3 blocks. Seriously, this is your semi-annual reminder. Go buy 1, 2, 3 blocks. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you need them for. If you're like, I don't need 1, 2, 3 blocks. You do. You do. You just don't know it yet. Go buy 1, 2, 3 blocks. Seriously, just go buy 1, 2, 3 blocks. That is the message of the day. Go buy 1, 2, 3 blocks. Go buy the blocks of the 1, 2 in the tree. 4 is too many. 5 is right out to lunch. Just 1, 2, 3. That's all you need. You could be fancy and get 2, 4, 6s if you're really crazy, but you don't really need 2, 4, 6s. Okay, so what are we doing today? What are we doing today? Well, first off, I need to make some room here for DePrusa. So let's put that all there. Okay, so this box can go bye-bye. No overlay? Ah, shoot. Dang it. That one. Turn that one on. Turn, okay, that one's on. Overhead. Turn that on, and desktop overlay. You can tell, you can always tell whenever we do the member streams, because I always forget to turn the overlays back on after them. It's always fun. So what are we doing today on stream? Well, today's stream should be quite fun and quite simple, because today's stream, once I move all the stuff out of the way for the Prusa Core 1, your core 1, and your core 1. So this is all stuff for the core 1. The joys of having like 3 ongoing printer builds at the same time is just, let's just have piles of stuff. Like, what is this? It's for a Prusa. What is this? It's for a Prusa. You go in there, you go in there, and you can just kind of live there for now. Okay. I think you are all stuff for that. Okay, so I think we're good here on stuff for the tool headboard. Okay. Andrew Rogers, $10 for Friday. Yay, it's Friday. It's Friday. Post-member stream issues. Yeah, how many blocks should you get? Usually they sell them in pairs of 2. I would say just go on like AliExpress and buy a 4-pack. 4 is pretty useful to have. Actually, okay. For the non-Americans, go on AliExpress and buy 4 of them. You don't need like super good quality ones. Like the cheap ones are fine. For the Americans, AliExpress, you may have issues with the tariffs. So, yeah. So what are we doing today? What are we doing today? Let me just make sure all the notifications went out. Notifications went out. Alerts went out. Sweet, sweet, sweet. We're good. We're good. We're good. Cool. So it is Friday. You've all entered to win your free spool of filament from Polymaker, right? We're doing the giveaway at the end of the stream. Make sure you enter for your chance to win some Polymaker filament. I've got my gamer subs here. When is the Trident with the tube thing getting sorted out? This thing? The tube? Whenever we get to it. The problem is I stream 3 days a week, and right now all 3 streams are filled with content. Tuesday streams, we're doing the Prusa Core 1. Friday streams, we're doing the ProForge. And the Saturday night streams are slated for MISC stuff, which is, part of it is this, but we're gonna be working on building a frame for a massive Voron instead tomorrow. So it's on the docket. It's just, when I get to it, I get to it on stream. We're suffering from success right now. We've got too many builds ongoing. So unfortunately, this has been like kind of put on the back burner for now. Because I'm traveling more in this month or next month. What is it? Is it April yet? No, it's still April. I did my taxes yesterday. A little close to the finish line, but I got them done in time. And it's always good when it's not as bad as you thought it would be. But it's never as good as you hope. Let's put it that way. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it could be, but it could have been better. It could have been better. So if you want to help support the channel, the content I create, and the things I do, consider becoming a channel member or Patreon supporter if you're really cool gifting memberships to others. That's the best way to support the channel. Where are we at? There we go. So what are we doing today? So you've all entered to win some Polymaker filament. Today we are going to carry on with the ProForge. We are carrying on with the ProForge. And we are at, where are we at with the ProForge? Let's see. I think we're on to toolhead shenanigans. Get audited. I'm hoping I never get audited. Like, I'll be honest, I do my taxes myself. I am self-employed, obviously. And I do my taxes myself because it's actually not as bad as you think being a YouTuber doing your taxes yourself, because I have the advantage that I don't have sales. So I basically just go, okay, government, I made this much money, and they go, okay, give us, I don't know, 10 or 15% of it, essentially, because that's how it works. People think we get taxed like crazy amounts in Canada. You do know for like the first 50 grand you make in Canada, it's taxed at like 15%. That's like nothing. I don't know why people are like, oh, it's like 40% taxes. Like, income? No, not really. Like, yeah, there's taxes on when you buy stuff. There's like a 13% tax and whatnot. But anyways, long story short, that's how I do my taxes. The government goes, hey, you owe us this much money for all the money you made last year. And I go, okay, here you go. So it's not as bad as you would think doing it myself. It's just annoying because I have to add up everything at the end of the year, and I'm bad with keeping receipts. So I don't write off as much as I should because I don't remember to keep receipts for a lot of stuff. So like the only stuff I write off is like big ticket stuff, like flights and hotels and whatnot. Stuff that I can just pull up my credit card statement and go, see, I did do it. I did do it. Here's proof. So Yeah, it's like, I always love when people are like tax rate in Canada, income. Yeah, it's not as crazy as people think. Like, the first $57,000 you make Canadian, you only get paid, you only tax 15%. That's it. Now, any amount that you make from 57,000 to 114,000 is 20%. But then again, it only caps up at 33%. So I always find it funny when people are like, oh, you live in Canada, you must pay like crazy taxes. It's like, not really. Now, there's other stuff that comes out of your paycheck if you work for a company with like Canadian pension plan stuff, contributions to retirement, whatnot. The downside with working for self-employed for YouTube, YouTube doesn't have a pension. So I have to self-fund all that shit. But yeah, always end up owing. Here's the thing, and a lot, oh, provincial taxes too. Yeah, there's provincial taxes. Yeah, there's always provincial taxes. So it is what it is. Yeah, provincial taxes in Ontario, where I'm at, is like another 5 to 13%. So still not that much. And considering, you know, I don't have to pay several. Dude, I've talked to some of my friends who are YouTubers in the US, and they tell me how much they have to pay out of pocket for their health care. And it's like over $1,000 a month for some of them. It's like, holy shit. Holy shit. Wait till you start to pay the tariffs. What tariffs? I'm Canadian. And I don't buy anything from the States. What would I buy from the US? What would I buy from the US? Like, what do I buy from the US? I don't get that. Okay, ready to move on to the next stage? Here we go, toolhead time. Oh wait, we've already done the gantry. Done the gantry. Oh, I didn't save the thing. So we've done the gantry. Glue. Dude, everything's made in China. That's why I really don't get the whole tariff war thing. It's like, we're gonna make everything in America, and the rest of the world's like, okay, yeah, but we're not gonna buy any of the stuff you make. So you want whole industries to set up in your country just to service 5% of the global population? It doesn't make sense. Because I guarantee you, if company is making something in China and then they're making the same product in the US, the Chinese product's gonna be a lot cheaper for the rest of the world. And I'll be honest, the quality will probably be better. By a politician. Heyo! Okay. Let's do the print head stuff. Let's do the print head stuff. So, we are going to build this portion, not right now, because my desk is all nice and cleaned off and the printer is on the ground right now. So we're just gonna build the tool heads and then we'll come back and do the docks. Because these are just pins and docks. These you just put in. So we're going to, let's see here, delete this, bookmark, and there we go. So let's start putting together some smart orbiters. Heck yeah. So today's stream, I'm gonna try and go the 3 hours, but it might end early today, just because we might be doing some family stuff this afternoon. And then same with tomorrow's stream. Tomorrow's stream may shift around. I may end up doing it earlier in the day or later in the day, or I may move it to Sunday. We'll see. Because I might be doing some stuff tomorrow night. And then for the rest of the Canadians in the audience, make sure you do your taxes. You have until Wednesday. Tell me about it. Pay through the nose for subpar health. Yeah, dude, healthcare, like, it's insane. Like, it's like being in a union. You pool your resources. It benefits everyone. Okay. Polymaker is made in Texas. Some Polymaker is made in Texas. Some Polymaker is made in Texas. Not all of it. Some is. And I'm pretty sure the stuff made in Texas is only for the American market, because none of the Polymaker I've received so far has been from America. All the Polymaker I've ever received up here in Canada has been Chinese made, right, from their main factory. Let me just Let me grab, where's the most recent spool of Polymaker I've received? I have so much Prusament right now. I have so much Prusament right now. Do I even have any boxes of Polymaker around here? I don't even know. Does it say on the box where it's made? A bunch of my Prusament, I have Prusament that's made in America. Most of it, yeah, my Prusament's all made in Prague. Yeah, I think all my Polymakers downstairs, or at least the boxes are. I don't think the spools say where it's made. No. Yeah, I don't think it's made. It says where it's made. They don't ship Jesse. It's because of taxes and duties. It's funny. A lot of stuff that's made in America isn't. A lot of stuff just isn't worth shipping out because shipping costs in America, in North America, are so high, and taxes and duties are so high. So it's like regional. You make it for your local market. Yeah, the Gamers Nexus video on taxes and tariffs is a good video. So. Material comes from the Great Mongolian ABS mines. No, it's old dinosaurs. Actually, no. You guys, the audience here, you guys do know oil isn't dinosaurs, right? It's trees. Like oil, coal, those aren't dinosaurs. It's from the Carboniferous period. It's from before dinosaurs. It's a period when trees came about, and then for like 30 million years, trees died, and bacteria and funguses that eat dead trees, the actual like the fibrous like tree material, haven't evolved yet. So there were like 30 million years when trees died, they just piled up before like stuff evolved to like eat them, like fungi and bacteria. So there was this really long period in history where trees would just die, fall over, build up, catch fire and burn. And then eventually all that shit got buried and then compressed and whatnot and turned into coal, and also oil. So. Okay, so let's do this. Open the box, do that. Hold the stuff. So let's open up one of these boxes. Which makes it set. So that means, wait. So that means if you're on a planet that doesn't have life or never had life, you won't find oil or coal. That means Minecraft. The Minecraft world has to be at least several 100 million years old for it to have coal. Because coal takes a long time to form. Because it's literally organic and it has to be compressed. So that means the Minecraft world went through a Carboniferous period during its evolution. Although I do believe natural gas is still a thing. Like Titan, Saturn's moon Titan has natural gas, I believe. You know that the family that crocodiles belong to predate dinosaurs? And do you know sharks are older than the North Star? Like, serious, the North Star? Sharks are older than it. And not like, oh, you know, because stars move, sharks have been around longer than Sirius has been the North Star. No, sharks have been around longer than the star itself. The star itself is younger than sharks. Okay, so what do we got here? We have our screwdriver. I've got a million of these screwdrivers. Yeah, are sharks older than oil? Carboniferous period. Sharks. So shark-like crustaceans from 419 to 359 million years, and some to 458 to 444 million years ago. Earth's confirmed modern sharks are around 200 million. The Carboniferous period was 360 to 298 million years ago. So, kinda, sorta. Sharks are a little bit older than oil. I mean, to be fair, we are all fish. We are all fish. Remember that. Right? As fancy as you think you are with your I'm a human, I pay taxes, I have a mortgage, and I build 3D printers and watch people on YouTube. Yeah, you're still a fish. You're just evolved quite a bit from a fish, but you're still a fish deep down. We still have a lot of dumb fish wiring under the hood. That's why, like, the nerve for your vocal cords, like, your brain's here, your vocal cords are here. The nerve that connects your brain to your vocal cord goes all the way down around your heart and comes up. Because in a fish anatomy, it's a direct line, because fish don't have necks, right? So that's why, like, the nerve for your brain that tells your vocal cords to make beep boop noises goes all the way down around your heart, because you can't rewire shit like that. Even in giraffes, it goes like 18 feet all the way down and back up. So that kind of disproves any notion of, like, somebody designed this shit. It's like, no, dog, there's a lot of legacy code under the hood. There's a lot of legacy code in us. Okay. So what do we got here? We got cables. We've got, I've never actually put together a smart orbiter. I've never actually put together a smart orbiter. So this will be, I have one. LDO sent me one, and then I never did anything with it because I didn't have a printer to put it on. Do fish have abs? I mean, I believe they do have the muscles. They're just in a different arrangement. Okay, so we have a bunch of cables. We've got the nozzle, which is an LDO motors. It is a CHT. It's a 0.4 CHT. We got some set screws. We got a bunch of cables. And we got all this. So plug the IO cables and then to the extruder motor and bend them backwards. Okay. So I'm assuming these are the IO cables. What's this guy? So what I'm going to do is we're going to get all these unboxed. So I can do all of them in a row. I'm going to get all my ducks up in a row here. I still can't find where I put my knife. Garbage, garbage. Garbage. I feel like, whatchamacallit, so much single-use plastic. Time you hear this song. I mean, it's a Stream Beats song, so it's a royalty-free song. So anyone got any plans this weekend? Oop. And anyone got any big exciting plans this weekend? Royalty free for now. It's Stream Beats, so I kind of trust it to remain royalty free because that's how the whole thing was set up. And the dude who does it actively does like step in when companies try to take advantage of it and make false claims. So two streams, Steve. Wow, busy man. I mean, I do want to do a Twitch stream this weekend. I do want to play Space Marine. This morning, I spent my morning in the arena. And then when I left, some adoring fan kept chasing me around. So after stream, I'm going to go on an adventure to some cliffs to take care of an issue. For those that know, you know. Cutting rods of steel with a hand tool. Fun! Scuba diving. Scuba diving? Dude, I suffer from, what's it called? That last phobia. I cannot do being in water where I can't see the bottom. It trips me out and I cannot handle that shit. Like, I don't get me wrong, I love swimming, okay? I don't mind being on boats. I don't mind swimming. I love fishing. It's fine. Being in water where I can't see the bottom trips me the hell out. So scuba diving, yeah, no. Okay, apply a thin layer of included thermal paste on the shaft of the hot end heat brake as shown. For the Revo edition, the print head, no thermal paste. Well, these are just the regular ones, okay? And then loosen the scrub screw using the included screwdriver. Slide the hot end in. Orient it to the table, point to the corner of the motor as shown. Tighten the scrub screw secured in place. Okay. So, unfortunately, these aren't the Revo edition ones, but we should be okay. I don't think it's that big of a difference between the two. Actually, it's kind of nice that these aren't the Revo edition. While I have a ton of Revo nozzles, I have even more traditional nozzles. So loosen the set screw. Try it when you can't see the top. Okay, so on our honeymoon, we did our honeymoon in Aruba, okay? And if you've ever been to Aruba, there is a World War II wreck off the coast of Aruba that you can go and do a, how much? Wow, they really coated that with thermal paste. I'm just gonna do the copper part and a little bit around the bottom because I really don't want it to ooze. Seriously? Got you now. Got you now. Oh, it's not the Black Hawk this time. Some other helicopter. Oop, oop, oop. There have been more helicopters flying over my house in the past month than in like ever. I don't know what it is with helicopters lately. There's like all the helicopters. So many helicopters. Okay, let's do this. There we go. Once I'm finished with this semester's finals, I'm going to be redoing the firmware. Fun times! Okay, so we got some thermal paste on there. Shove you in the hole. Push it down. Put it towards the back right, I believe. Yeah, put it towards the back right, like that. And then tighten the set screw. And there we go. One done. On the border, maybe. I mean, I'll be honest, where I'm at, like, the most common border issue they have is, like, somebody screwing up and not realizing that they're on the border. Because for those that have ever driven in Detroit, you know that it's, like, it's actually pretty easy to actually end up on the bridge coming into Canada, or the tunnel. And they're both, like, one way only. So, like, once you accidentally get on the path heading towards the border, there's no way to not go across the bridge. And then customs loves that shit. You know, when people show up without a passport or anything, they really love that. So they, yeah. There you go. Niagara Falls is similar. Yep, it happens quite often. I mean, hell, I've done it accidentally. Now, granted, on the Canadian side, you have a moment to go, oh shit. Because if you go down the streets, like called Huron Line on our side, if you go down the street, it ends in a Y. You come to a light and you go through the light and it's a Y. If you go left, you go to the bridge. If you go right, you just keep going on a normal road. And it's very often you'll see somebody who's like, no, let me in, let me in, let me in. Like, oh shit. King Rune KP3. You might just have to build a config from scratch. The easiest way I can say to do that, Wolf Pup, is to basically find a printer that's as similar to it. As long as you have the pinouts, you should be fine, because you can just adjust the pins. So you might have to build one from scratch, but honestly, it's not as hard as people think building a Clipper config from scratch. As long as you know what the pins do, as long as you have the pin out for your board and you know what needs to go where, and you know the specs of the machine, it's actually not that hard to... Did I loosen that so it's correct or not? Enhanced Michigan license. Yeah, I think like with the American, you can get like a Nexus card. I just use my passport. I just use my passport whenever I travel in the States. I mean, I have to. Okay. Enhanced Michigan license. It's basically like a driver's license that's kind of like, because I know in the US you guys have that like real ID system now, but you also can get an enhanced driver's license. It's meant for people that cross the border often. Because there's actually quite a large amount of people that like live in Detroit and work in Canada, or work in Windsor and live in Windsor and work in Detroit. It's surprisingly common. I know a lot of people do it for nursing, for example. So yeah. Apply some thermal paste to this nozzle, screw the nozzle in the heater block. Okay, so let's do that. I rarely put thermal paste on nozzles, so I'm just gonna put a little dab. A little dab will do ya. Now, for now, I'm gonna leave these nozzles alone, but in the future, I will be swapping out these nozzle sizes. The way I wanna run this machine is with one hardened nozzle, a 0.4 hardened nozzle, a 0.4 unhardened nozzle, high flow rate, and then I wanna put like a 0.8 or even a 1mm nozzle, also possibly hardened, because I wanna try using this machine for prints that are like carbon fiber with dissolvable filament and like large infill. Like I wanna play around with the whole using different nozzle sizes for multicolor printing or multi-material printing. The XL, I'm probably gonna leave it stock, all 0.4s, and I'll use this one and play around with nozzle sizes. So What are my thoughts on Index? I've done a video on it, and I will be going to Sweden in 2 weeks to go take a look at it in person. But I am excited for it. It seems interesting, and I am more excited for it than pretty much anything else coming out of 3D printing this year. I have no idea if this is the right nozzle size. This is not the right size. Where is my right size one? Are you it? No, you're not it. Right size one? No. I know I have a nozzle. I don't know where I put my nozzle wrench, and it's annoying me. Like, I had a proper actual nozzle wrench. I don't know where I put it. Let me just use my LTT screwdriver. We'll just use the LTT store screwdriver to put the nozzles in. Good enough? Good enough. There we go. I hate putting thermal grease on stuff. I always get it all over my fingers, and it's like, try not to get it in the threads or in the actual filament path. There we go. Did I have to print parts? I have not printed any parts for it. I don't know if I need to print parts. A lot of the parts for it are CNC'd, apparently, but we're going to be looking in the boxes on tomorrow's stream. So tomorrow night's stream is going to be a bit more, it's going to be a Saturday night stream. We'll leave it at that. There'll be some scuffness to it because I'm going to be trying to figure out how to build a printer that big in my garage where I don't have a lot of room. So we're going to be doing a little finagling, I think. So we shall see how it goes. How much is the new Pantheon price at? I don't know. You have to check their site. It is yes monies. More than couple, less than all. It is several monies. The HS3, put it this way, is like 10 grand. I think 10 grand Canadian or 10 grand US. I can't remember if it's Canadian or US pricing. One second. Little guy just got home from school. Let me go say hello. Uno momento. I'm back. Okay. Printers with Index. So the thing with Index is it's a standalone system. So the advantage with Index is you put it on any machine. So, you know, theoretically, Prusa could come out with a system with Index. Creality could come out with a printer with Index. Really, anyone could build a printer and put Index on it. It's like Bondtech makes extruders. A bunch of printers come with extruders from Bondtech, right? Well, now Bondtech also makes the Index system. Anyone, you know, can make a printer with the Index system, as long as they follow licensing and whatnot, because I believe they do have some of it patented. Contact for info. So there you go. That's how much it costs. Yeah, if it says contact for pricing, that tells you the pricing right there, right there. Okay. So we've got our nozzles installed. Did I accidentally cut myself? No. Orbiter tool boards. Okay, so these are fine. So open the Orbiter tool board box and take out the tool board and mounting spacers. Check that the pins match the image and are not touching or damaged. Okay. Yeah, Pantheon near Vancouver. They're like right downtown Vancouver. They got a nice place though. I will say their shop is pretty nice. I have a video that I filmed with them, and then we're hoping to try and do another one this year at some point. Yeah, Index supports Clipper. We got to remember, Index isn't that fancy. In terms of like mechanicals, there's a bunch of like stuff under the hood, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, it's move to XY position, dock, undock, heat up. Like it's all macros. It's actually a surprisingly analog system, if that makes sense. Okay, so we got one tool head board. Solder joints look good, so there's one. Yeah, it's just macros, right? It's just macros that make it all work. So. But I mean, it's a made in North America high-end 3D printer with ball screws and servos, machine components, a bunch of custom components. Like everything in the tool head's custom. There's there is off the shelf in a Pantheon, but not as much. Nowhere near as much as a more traditional printer. So you gotta factor the cost of all that in. Like at least they use V6 nozzles, so you can use any nozzle you want. And at least they don't do something stupid like lock it down to their specific filament. Those look good. And I will say this is actually a pretty nice little tool head board. It's nice and compact. Okay. So we got those three there. Mounting the tool head board. So we got some spacers. So we got spacers, mount these first. Tool head board, washer, M3/6s. Okay, so grab one of these, face down. Spacers are, no. Ah, here we go. Oh, nice. They give you all the stuff to attach together. I like the design process. That is something one of the reasons they want me to, I've been talking with the CEO, Bob, and one of the things we would like to do is do like a sit down video where we just nerd out about the whole design process, about like, you would be surprised how much gets overlooked in designing a 3D printer in terms of when you need final product. You need to build a machine to make final product. You'd be surprised how much stuff some people don't look at along the way, designing a thing to make the final product. Okay, so mount that on there. That screws in there. plastics. Good thing we have paper straws, eh? If we didn't have paper straws. Allen keys. Yeah, the machine at 10 grand is cheap because the machines the companies are looking at are 40 grand machines. And then always make sure you don't have anything touching, like an extra long wire or something, or a solder joint. One. Like, look at this. This could have all been just in this one bag, but we got one plastic bag to hold 3 plastic bags of stuff. They could have just put all that in there. But the thing is, it's all automated, and the automated systems do it this way. And the time save is worth more than the material save. That's the problem with a lot of this stuff, is it's not so much that they're doing it maliciously, it's just it saves time to do it this way than it does than the material cost would save. And you gotta be careful, these are nylon. You don't wanna over torque them and accidentally strip the threads. So that would be bad. Easier to QC. That too. There's a lot of reasons. Probably shouldn't be licking my thumb to pick up the washers on my mat, considering I have thermal grease on my thumb already. Cheers, Reel. Two. How do you like the design of the ToolChanger tools? Well, I haven't built them yet, but I'm pretty sure these use the same style of lock-unlock mechanism as the E3D ToolChanger, and from my understanding, that system works pretty good. Welcome to everyone using small electric screwdrivers. I have them. I've got a bigger one right here that I use quite often. And then I do have a smaller one somewhere. Put it in here somewhere. Around here somewhere. Oh, right there. I got it right here. What ends up happening is a lot of the time these small ones don't have enough balls to properly torque anything of size. Like this can't do M3. So you still have to tighten it. And they're not as fast a lot of the time. So you run into a case where they're either not powerful enough to tighten everything the way you want them to, so you still have to properly tighten them, or they're too powerful and you strip threads, which is not good. So you're kind of like in a weird position a lot of the time. Some places it makes more sense. I think it's just like the size of screws we use in 3D printing puts them in that weird, some is too big, some is too small kind of category. So, Should I go with a Trident or 2.4? If you don't know which one to build a Trident. Ooh, we got 3 screws in this one. Yeah, remember, I say this when it comes to 3D printers, but this applies to a lot of things. Never, ever, well, don't ever not, but a good rule of thumb to find out which products are actually worth buying is don't look at what people tell you to buy, okay? So a good example would be a YouTuber comes out with a video of a 3D printer that they're like, bro, dog, you gotta buy this printer. It's the best printer in the world. Never mind the fact this entire video is me just reading off the spec list and only showing off the included models that come with the printer. This is the best printer in the world. You should totally buy it. My affiliate link is first thing in the video description. Totally buy it. This is totally not a paid review. And then you never see that printer on their channel ever again. But whenever they do a not review, they're using like a bunch of bamboos or Prusas. I wonder what printer they actually like. So a good rule of thumb is get what people actually use, not what they tell you to buy. To an extent. There's always wiggle room. There's always wiggle room. But like, for example, Joel has ever access to every printer in the world, okay? And I'm sure he could probably get some nice discounts with a bunch of companies too. But you know what he built his print farm with? A bunch of Prusa Mark IVs. So when you have access to try and ooh, I forgot to put the washers on this. When you have access to like all the printers in the world to try, to buy, etc. And that's what you pick for your print farm, well, there's probably a good reason why they went with it for the print farm. The Seaboard Trident kit, it's right behind me. It's not running right now because we're doing upgrades on it. I just got to get back to the timetable to actually finish the upgrades. What printer do I use the most and why? It depends what I'm printing. It depends what I'm printing and when you ask me. Right now, I'll be honest, probably my Prusa Core 1s. Well, the Core 1. I only have one Core 1. I've been using the Prusa Core 1 quite a bit. I've also done some printing on the Pantheon lately. And I've used the XL and the Voron in my basement a bit. I haven't been doing a lot of printing lately, though. But, you know, if you were asked me that question 6 months ago, my answer would have been different. If you ask me that question in 6 months from now, my answer will probably be different. I like machines. You want to know the easiest answer? Whatever machine is set up for what I need it to do. Do I need to print flexibles? Well, in that case, I'm probably going to use one of my Prusas because the extruder is really good. Do I need to print something with, you know, higher temperatures and with a hardened nozzle? I'm probably using my Pantheon. Like, it depends what I need it to do. Okay, so now we need the print head docking assembly. Okay, so we need to find the metal bracket and the 3D printed part. Okay, so where are these at? Metal bracket, oh, probably in this bin. Print head fasteners. I think it's probably all in here. You think you'll upgrade them all? Maybe, maybe not. I know I spoke with my Prusa rep. We probably will be doing, like, we're doing a build right now, just building a Core 1. We probably will be doing a Mark IV to Core 1 upgrade at some point in the future once those kits are more available. But for example, like this Mark IV that's in the enclosure, I have it set up with a hardened nozzle. It's got one of the Fadus tungsten nozzles in, I think. That machine I'll probably never touch. I'll probably leave that exactly like it is because it does what I need it to do just fine. It does what I need it to do just fine. So I'm just probably going to leave it. I'm very much, if it ain't broke, why faff with it? That's what I need here. M38 print head screw fastener. I really like how they include the screws that you need for each tool head in the bag. Stop being so sensible. Like, put it this way, I know somebody who had a big print farm with a lot of P1Ss, okay, or P1Ps or P1S. I think they were P1Ps even. And they ended up, when they did an expansion of their print farm, they ended up getting rid of the P1Ss and kitting out everything with FlashForge Adventure 5Ms. Because it made more sense. Those machines printed as good, if not a little bit better than the P1Ss. They were much cheaper and easier to do maintenance on. So it made sense for them to do that. You know, on paper, the P1S is a better machine. In their use case, it wasn't. Because it all, at the end of the day, you're buying the printer for what you need it to do. And everyone needs their printer to do something slightly different, maybe. Yeah, like, see, this can't even screw in an M3 screw into plastic. So it's like... So you gotta be careful anytime you're screwing into plastic. Don't over tighten it. Last thing you wanna do is over tighten it and make a boo-boo. Having printers set up for a specific task is an excuse to get more printers. I mean, to be fair, my situation is not normal. I have more printers than I need. I'll be honest, I can easily probably consolidate down to maybe easily a half dozen printers, and I'd be perfectly good for all of my use cases. But it's also my job to do 3D printer stuff, so I kind of... Does only one of those bags have the M38s? No, they all have an M38 bag. See, I probably should be smart and just use the one M38 bag for all of them, but I'm going to keep everything together so I don't accidentally screw this up. What fave filament brand for ABS? Whatever I have in stock. I will say I'm a little bit more attached to Prusament ABS and ASA right now because it's really ASA. Don't get me wrong, I still use plenty of Polymaker, but the Polymaker Polylite isn't pure ABS, it's a blend, and I just like Prusament ASA a bit more right now. Run all your printers at once? I've done it. I've had all my printers running before. I've done big prints of the whole like cosplay stuff. Where did I just put my Allen key? Seriously? Where did I put my Allen key? Oh. It's stuck to the magnet. Video that Pantheon is all about higher pressure exertion. Do you think the way things are going in the future or too expensive? Hard to say, because what Pantheon machines need to do compared to some other printers is a bit different. Pantheon machines are more tuned for like consistent quality and the final products coming out being exactly as described and required for material properties. So they have to be a little bit more, they have to be a little bit more anal about stuff that like just doesn't matter when it comes to consumer level 3D printers. Like if you're using your 3D printer to literally print meme prints and like a billion Flexi Dragons to sell on Etsy stores like everyone else, your printer, like, let's be honest, doesn't matter that much. Like the world of diminishing returns in consumer level 3D printing is has hit very hard very quickly. Like, I'll be honest, if I were to take a Benchy, printed off every printer that I've received in the past 2 years and put them all side by side, I probably would not be able to tell you which printer any of them came off of. Because they all print fine. Most modern printers, you know, with a decent profile, print fine. And you probably rarely, if ever, going to be able to tell the difference between like what was printed on what machine. So, no issues on the very heavy gantry on the Pantheon. When you have clear path servos that are capable of moving the entire printer, let alone the tool head, no. Tool head weight is only a factor and a problem if your motion system can't handle the weight. Either it's not rigid enough, or the motors don't have enough power. So on a Pantheon, it's not a problem. Like, tool head weight only matters when your motion system can't keep up with the tool head weight. So if your motion system can handle the tool head weight, then the weight don't matter, regardless of how much it weighs. Oh, there's two M38s? Oh, there's two M38s. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I gotta dig out. I'm gonna be a bad boy, and I'm gonna steal the M38s from one. See, it says M38. So I did this, I put the M38 in, I did all of them, and then I look at the next step, it's like, oh, should say two M38s. What firmware? Clipper. It runs a forked version of Clipper that they developed internally, but they do back port anything that they upgrade, they do push it back to mainline Clipper. So you can tell the, yeah, these ones don't thread in as much. Or they don't thread in as, they don't bite as meatily as going in the other side. Clipper supports servos. Technically it does, as long as you have something that can convert the signals to something the servos can understand. So they have a breakout board that allows, this just has a Manta in it. This has a Big Tree Tech Manta in it. They just have breakout boards that allow the signals that would normally tell a stepper driver what to do, interpolated for servos. So in the eyes of Clipper, it's pretty much the same. All right, so that mounts there with M35s. Okay. What makes the Pantheon unique? It's a 3D printer designed for heavy-duty industrial and commercial usage, where you need to print stuff that actually meet a proper material sheet using engineering grade materials that aren't engineering grade materials like Peak and Ultim. Because not everyone needs to print Peak and Ultim. Holy shit. I swear, some people are way too obsessed with machines needing to print Peak and Ultim in those materials. If you don't need to print those materials, there's no point in printing those materials. And not everyone needs to print those materials. So we're putting on this plate, mounts on the side here. Yep, they got their market, and it's doing quite well for them, from my understanding. materials as well. I mean, it's carbon fiber and glass-filled nylons, essentially. That's what this machine's bread and butter is carbon fiber and glass-filled nylons. Also does carbon fiber PETG really nice. But like, put it this way, from my understanding, what their customers are using the machine for is they are using it to prototype and do small batch runs of stuff that would normally need to be machined out of aluminum. So small batch runs of items that would normally be made out of like aluminum, they're doing on Pantheons instead. And they're just printing it and it's good to go. Because originally they were using it to prototype parts that they would then eventually machine them out of, get them machined. And then they realized, hey, wait a minute. Our prototype parts that we 3D printed on this machine are just doing fine. Why don't we just stick with the prototype parts? And that's what they did. Or that's what some of them are doing. Can you plug those exotic? What do you mean plug? They're carbon fiber nylon and glass-filled nylons. I've printed some of those materials on Prusas. They print fine. In fact, a lot of okay, that helmet, the T45 Power Armor helmet, obviously all painted and whatnot. But that was this was printed on a Pantheon. This was printed on my HS3. Okay. So this guy was printed on my HS3. Obviously, it's all painted and weathered and finished, but this was printed on the HS3. But like my Ripper, this was also printed with carbon fiber PETG from Pantheon, but this was printed on the Prusa because, well, I don't know, I just did it on the Prusa because I just got it. Oh, the plugs. The breakthrough unique material devices. So carbon. I always love when people are like asked the questions instead of just looking it up. Yes, the tool head's custom. It's got their own. It's their own custom tool head. They did license some stuff from Slice in terms of design aspects, but it is their own custom tool head. The only thing that's off the shelf with their tool head is the motor, the NEMA 17, and the nozzle. Everything else is custom. Even the tool head board is custom. They designed their own tool head board. Who can afford? I think a lot of the print people wanting to print Peak are the same people that drive like an F-150, a lifted F-150 to work in an office and they live in a city. Like if you need to print Peak, you need to print Peak. But I don't think a lot of people don't need to print Peak. It's literally just like an E-peen measuring contest for a lot of people, I think. It's like, it's funny because whenever I put out a video about the Pantheon, I get comments from people like, oh, the machine costs this much and it doesn't even print Peak or Ultim or whatever. And it's like, you're right, it doesn't need to. Why would it need to? Well, because if you're paying that much, it's like, yes. But who cares? Because the customers don't need it. By the way, there's a big difference. You do know, if you want to design a machine to print Peak and Ultim, the machine needs to be an oven. We've printed PEK in here. I printed PEKK on a Voron, okay? Just because a machine can print the material doesn't mean it should be printing the material. Go watch Joel. Joel did a video, he did a nice little video relatively recently on his channel, where he printed Peak or Ultim or whatever on a Bamboo H2D. And it's a complete waste of time and money. Because yes, it can print something, but it's not printing the material in the conditions that it requires to actually get the benefits and the properties that the material gives you. Like, anyone here, if you've actually held an Ultim print, do I still have it? Where did I put it? Did I throw it on the shelf? I might have brought it inside. I have a little ring made of, oh yeah, I do right here. Okay. This is Ultim. This is Ultim. Okay, this is Ultim here, okay? So, if you want to print Ultim, you need, how do I word this? If you're printing this, you need it to do what it needs to do. And if you're printing this on a machine that doesn't give you the material properties, which in Ultim's case is layer adhesion, if you're not printing this in something where the chamber is 120 Celsius with like 450 on the nozzle, and the entire chamber is that temperature controlled and there's no temperature variations, and it comes out and the part's already cracking, then the part's garbage. And you spent $500 on a spool of filament for garbage. But it's Ultim. It will still break. It is not the ultimate plastic. It still will break. Even when printed under the right conditions. So this is like a $5 thing I just broke, by the way. But when you print it and design stuff in the right orientation, so even if you use the right material and you print it on the right machine, if you're not using it the right way, it'll still fail on you. And I think a lot of people just like go, oh, it can print Peak. The nozzle gets to 500. I can print Ultim. It's like, no. No. Okay, so the bracket has slightly different shapes for the Revo version of the exterior. The orbiter bracket is less than 90. Okay, so we have the orbiter bracket. So less than 90. And the grease plate. Okay. So I'm gonna need that. I need that. I need some screws. Can you print it? I mean, if your Prusa will survive being in an oven, maybe. Maybe. I got that. And then I'm gonna need some screws probably. So let's get my retirement grease. So let's see. So that looks like that. Okay. So add some grease to the inside of the tool plate. There we go. Okay. And then, so the orientation, so it's horizontal, so it goes on like that, and it goes like that. Okay, so we get this guy, goes like that. This guy goes on like that. Okay, so we got, what do we got here? So M3/8 for those guys and M3/6 for that guy and that guy. Okay. M3/8 countersunk screws. I need 3 of these. This song reminds me of a Pokemon song, like 3/6s. 2 of these. Okay. Any printer can print Ultim once. Also, another thing you need to keep in mind printing Ultim, if the print fails, depending on the fail condition, you can end up with a big mess. Because like, Ultim jamming up, gumming up a nozzle can be a big pain in the butt to clean up. Like a big pain in the butt to clean up. So you gotta be very careful. Like, there's a reason, like, the only time water cooling kind of makes sense in 3D printing is when you're printing those materials. Okay, and on this, it looks like the balls face inwards or outwards. Balls face outwards, and the slot is horizontal. So this goes like that. Oh yeah, industrial oven and vacuum. Yeah. For those that don't know, you want to know how Joel dries his Ultim? He puts it on the bed of the Vision Miner that goes up to like, what, 150 Celsius or something stupid like that? So you take the spool of filament, you put it on the bed of the printer, and you leave it at there with the printer at like the bed at max temperature and the chamber at max temperature, and you leave it in there for like a day. And then once it's up to that temperature, you take it out and you take that spool of filament and you put it in a vacuum chamber and you suck all the air out of it. And that is how you dry Ultim and peak and whatnot. You don't put it in your Polymaker dryer at 60 and leave it for a weekend. And that ain't gonna do shit. That's one of the reasons I have actually a couple spools of Ultim and Peck that I haven't done anything with in a while because I literally don't have the ability to dry them properly at home. So if any companies are watching this that do filament dryers that are able to heat up to like 90 or higher, let me know. I'm interested. Mini oven. That's what I've been doing. Every now and then I've been, every time we go out, I'll stop into like a Goodwill or whatever every now and then and look around for a cheap convection oven or something. Because it needs to be a convection oven. It's got to move the air around. So. Come on. Come on. There we go. Try not to mix anything up here. Put a little bit of grease. Little dabble, do ya? Yeah, like I have a food dehydrator. The problem is it only goes up to like 65 or 70. It doesn't get hot enough. Yeah, Joel, I don't know what happened with that. I seen a picture of it where Joel posted a picture of his Sunlu filament dryer with a bunch of melted spools in it. So I don't know what happened there. Yeah, you still need a vacuum. Like, the oven will heat it up, but it's not going to draw the moisture out. You need, the vacuum draws the moisture out. That's why you need the vacuum. That's why you got to, because the Vision Miner can heat it up, and it's got a convection oven chamber. But you still need something to draw the moisture out. That's why you need the vacuum. And no, you can't just put it in a garbage bag and put a vacuum on it. It don't work that way. Like, Joel actually has like a proper pressure container vacuum chamber. It's kind of funny. Screws. You need the plate. Where's the other plate? Am I missing a plate? Oh, it's in here. Like, am I missing a plate? I got it. Magnets. Sixes. .38 countersunk. A little scared I saw Canuck struggle somewhere in the build that didn't manage. Which build? I mean, I've built all the Vorons several times, so. And like, if it, like, there's, I will say, like, if you're building a Voron, none of the builds have any real complicated stuff to them. There's just a few parts where you may have to, like, just kind of make sure you're following the instructions. Read through the instructions first. Oh, the Seaboard Trident. Yeah, the Seaboard Trident, I had issues, not with the build itself. There were a few things that could have been done better, in my opinion, with wire routing in a few spots. Nothing like game breaking. The biggest issue I had was I had like a gremlin in the tool head that just kept cropping up, and I just could not get it to behave the way I wanted it to. Because if a printer doesn't work 99.9% reliably, I pretty much don't bother using it. Because like I don't want to babysit. I got enough printers that I know work, so I'm not going to sit here and babysit a printer that is a little fussy. So I'm like, screw it, I'll do some upgrades on it. Swap out the tool head to get it working, and that's just been an ongoing thing because we haven't gotten around to it. Make it with good materials. What do you suggest, Kit? Self-source. Or correction, not self-source. Don't bother self-sourcing a Voron anymore. In today's day and age, especially with the shipping and all the bullshit, there's no point in self-sourcing anymore. It's not worth it. The costs have gone up so much for shipping everything individually, and just get a kit. In terms of what kit, do you want to build one that's a stock machine, or do you want to go crazy with all the upgrades? Personally, I'm a big fan of getting something like an LDO kit, which is basically as good of a stock Voron as you can get without going crazy. But if you want to get one that has like a bunch of mods and whatnot default, you might want to look into something like the Seavor or something like that. Yeah, it's funny. It used to be cheaper to self-source way back in the day, but COVID kind of got rid of that. Okay, wire routing. Yay, that's a mess. Okay, after mounting the tool head boards, back down these connects the cable as shown. Heater and thermistor, motor, integrated electronics, fan. And then do some zip ties. Okay, so let's get some zip ties here. Some colorful ones. Okay, so cable management. Let's see what we got here. So red is the motor. That goes right here. these all at the same time so I don't mix them up. Okay, so that's motors on all of those. And then the integrated electronics, which is this guy, goes here. Okay, well actually, what's the blue? Blue is the fan. Do the fan first. And then the integrated electronics. There we go. So fan. Integrated electronics. Fan. Integrated electronics. Don't like, there's no support under here. So as I'm like trying to push it down, it's bending the board. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So that's those three. Okay. And then heater and thermistor go. Go. Beautiful. And cable management. Okay, let's see. Do I have any small zip ties? Do these bags have zip ties? Small zip ties. I do. Got a whole bunch right here. Space for her. 300 is the best size for a Voron, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So cable management, use disable ties to secure as shown. Okay, so those just go there. All right, so those zip tie to that, and then one big one around that. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So while I'm doing this, don't forget, if you haven't yet, every stream we do give away a spool of filament from Polymaker. If you have not entered for your chance to win, link in the video description, enter for your chance. Do this now because we're going to be doing the draw at the end of stream, which will be whenever we get these tool heads built, I think. And then also, don't forget, while you're down there, if you want to help support the channel, the content I create, and the things I do, don't forget to check out some of the links, affiliate links. Don't cost you anything extra, go a long way supporting the channel. If you want to help support the channel content directly, consider becoming a channel member or a Patreon supporter. Best way to support the channel is to gift memberships to others, though, because when we give memberships to others, other people get to hang out when we do cool stuff. We're always doing cool stuff. Go. There we go. And that just kind of goes like that, I think. Okay, one done. Yeah, 350. Remember, the bigger the printer, it's not... Build the printer that you need, not the printer that you want. Okay? I know this is probably hard for some people to hear. Build the printer you need, not the printer you want. Because a 3D printer is a CNC machine. There is tuning, there is calibration, there are a lot of factors that will impact the final outcome of things. And if you build the machine bigger than you need, you're going to be spending time dealing with stuff you wouldn't have to deal with if you built a smaller machine sometimes. So, build the machine you need, not the machine you want. Or buy the machine you need, not the machine you want. And last one. Rarely even max it. Yeah, like I'll be honest, I've been printing, most of the stuff I've printed over the past like 2 months has been on Prusa's. And other than the XL, those are normal size beds. Go. There we go. Okay. So now, behold, 3 tool heads. These are nice and compact. Okay, attach USB cable and attach cable ties to fix the nylon guide. Okay, so where's the USB cable and the nylon guide? Well, the nylon guide is this guy. And then, so where is these 3? Also going to need the PTFE tube. I gotta find the USB cables. Oh, there it is. In the bag. So it's not really a USB cable. 24-volt PSU cable, USB A to C toolhead cable. Gonna visit Bondtech in Sweden. I am going to the Sweden, yeah. You know that's not a Swedish accent. I'm going to the land of PewDiePie. Trying to consolidate all this down. Okay. So, install cable. That's easy. 1. 2. 3. Then install this guy. I'm assuming they're both the same. Yeah, it's all the same. So this is gonna be a bit annoying, but zip tie it. Yeah, I know he lives in Japan now. Okay, so let me just double check here. Does it goes on the inside? Okay, so that goes on the inside. So that goes like that. Okay. There we go. 1. Ooh. It's always awkward to do this stuff. Good. Good. I think I hit my keyboard. There we go. And then what's it? PTFE tube 2. Dock the print head into their pins, push the PTFE into the extruder, use a cable tie. Okay, so yeah, so we'll put the PTFE in right now, I guess, just so it's all built. Tube. Wow, this PTFE tube really doesn't want to go in too far, does it? Am I missing something here? Does it have to be like unlocked or something? Seems like a very, very tight. Like it just, I mean, it's just a guide, so it's not like it's needs to be locked, but one, I mean the face. 2. There we go. There we go. Okay. And then P2P tube. How's the Seaboard compared to the VZBot? Hard to say because I've had gremlins with the Seaboard Trident for quite a bit. I know a lot of people haven't, but I had gremlins with mine that prevented me from doing any really large amount of printing on it. And then, so I decided to swap out the entire tool head for an entire different system. So the Luke's Lab takeoff with a tube and the Jupiter board, do a 48 volt upgrade, and that's just kind of ongoing. So I can't really comment onto the quality. I will say that the VZBot's been fine. They're both quad XY, Core XY machines. They're going to be within margin of difference. It's what style of machine do you prefer more? Are you a Dodge person or an F-150 person or a Silverado person? Like, they're quad XY, Core XY machines with the bed moves. The VZ-Bot, I think, scales bigger. So if you need a bigger machine, the VZ-Bot makes a bit more sense. And the VZ-Bot has better part cooling, so it's got CPAP. Whereas this now has the takeoff tool head, which is insane. So. Okay. So that is all the tool heads built. I got all these extra wires here that I don't know what do I do with all these wires? I'm gonna take them all and put them in a bag. I don't think I need any of these. These are all the wires if you wanted to use the tool head board without CAN bus, I think. Or not use a tool head board, I think. Okay. So now, we need to go back to the top and actually grab the printer now. So let's make some room here. I'm gonna get a drink because I'm thirsty. If you're thirsty, you should buy some gamer subs. Link in the video description. Use code Canuck, save 10%. Do this now. What a strange statement. That's not a strange statement. Build the machine you need, not the machine you want. The very first 3D printer I ever got was a Monoprice Select Mini. I got it because at the time, Enders were like kind of newish, actually. And so it was cheap and it had decent reviews. So I started with a Monoprice Select Mini. That machine had 120 millimeter print volume. Within 2 weeks, I was looking to either upgrade it or build a bigger printer. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna build the biggest printer I can build. So I went from a 120 machine to a 300 by 300 by 400 Voron V 1.5. Why? I wanted a bigger printer. And so I built it. And then I had problems with it because a V 1.5, a Voron V 1.5 at that size, well, your XY rods, they droop. And the Z, it wobbles because I did a mod to make the Z easier at that size. Because, you know, it doesn't scale that big to 400 Z. So I did a mod. Well, the mod has Z-wobble issues. So I had Z-wobble issues. And I had all these other issues. And guess what? I used the max print volume on that machine once. And then you know what I did? The next printer I built was a 250 V2. And most of my machines are around 250 to 300 size. For that reason. Build the machine and buy the machine that you actually need. Because if you want a big machine, but you don't need a big machine, you're dealing with all the problems that a big machine has that you could have just avoided. Also plays with buying, right? Don't just buy a Bamboo because, oh, they're a popular machine, right? Do you need a Bamboo? Well, you might, depending on your setup. But it's like, oh, I just need like 50 relatively cheap, compact machines that I can work on for a print farm printing PETG stuff. Well, it's open frame, so getting an enclosed Bamboo is a waste of time, right? You're spending extra for the enclosure there because you're printing PETG, that's open. And those machines, you know, print farm, they're great at first, but if you have, you know, downtime is killer, those machines are not easy to fix. Blow a bearing, it's done. Whereas some other machines, it takes 5 seconds to swap a bearing, like a Prusa. Or, hey, I need to be able to use it with, you know, certain farm software or whatever. Like, you need to look at what you need. It's like buying a car. You don't go buy an F-150. The F-150 is the most popular vehicle in North America, okay? In only North America. Because they don't make sense outside of North America. Hell, they don't even make sense a lot of the time in North America. So, should everyone buy an F-150 because it's the most popular vehicle in North America? No! You need to look at what you need. And then get what you need to fit your use case. Making some room here so I can actually grab the printer. Okay. Come with me, and you'll be world of pure. Oh my God, there's cables everywhere. So, where do we leave off? Oh yeah, the cable management. I never did the cable management. I printed off some stuff so we could do cable management. If I can figure out how these work. How's this supposed to work? I don't think it can work because I got the wires need to come through this hole. I think I printed off the wrong thing to make this work. Yeah, this isn't going to work because the cables have... Oh no, I could do it. I could do it. Yeah, I can do it. Okay, let's do this. Cable management time. How well did the LTT backpack work during your... Dude, I loved it. After this trip coming up, I might record a bunch of B-roll of just the backpack, and I might do a video on the backpack. Just a quick, easy video on the backpack. Because I'll be honest, I really like the LTT Store backpack. It works really good for what I need it to do. If that makes sense. The LTTstore.com backpack works really good for what I need it to do. Fire, fire. Okay. I don't know if I can fit, yeah, see the problem is with this stupid design, I can't fit the wires through the hole. With the bigger size maybe? Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Will these all fit through the hole? Wires go down the hole. Ducky go down the hole. I've got fuzzies in here. Yep. That was a cool way to get rid of all the fuzzies on the inside of this. There we go. The Orange Storm Giga. The Orange Storm Giga, the only person that I know that really is happy about the Orange Storm Giga is Luke from Luke's Lab. Because he sells the Blue Storm Giga kit, which unfucks the Orange Storm Giga. So he sells the stuff to make the Orange Storm Giga an actual usable printer. So I think he's the only one who actually likes the Orange Storm Giga existing. They really kind of... What's the phrase I like to use? It's not hard to build a big printer. It's not. You just take a normal printer and just get longer belts, extrusions, and rods and whatnot. It's not hard to build a big printer. It's hard to build a big printer that's good, and it's not cheap. So when you see a big printer... Did I unmute myself? No, I didn't mute myself. So when you see a big printer that's cheap, sus. Now, I'm sure some of the newer versions of the machine are better. I'm sure they've worked out some of the gremlins by now. It's just, I know a lot of people had a lot of problems with the early version of that machine. Oh my God, why didn't I not use one of these sooner? Oh my God, this is so much nicer. Oh, this is so much nicer than doing it by hand. Why was I a Neanderthal? Why did I not ever print these out before? Oh my God, this is so much nicer. Like it just... I feel disappointed now. Years of my life wasted. Okay. What tool is it? It's a sleeve tool. So you put the sleeve over this, and you put your wires through here, and you slide it down, and as you slide it down, you just kind of like feed it. Get your mind out of the gutter. So you just kind of feed it. And it basically allows you to do the wire wrapping really easily. So I printed a bunch of them off. Yesterday with the aim of printing a canoe. Was it the John and Ivan Miranda video? I wonder if they're doing that for open sauce. Look in Discord. I am looking in Discord. Look at what in Discord? I've got like 20 DMs open right now. Live stream channel. Oh, the wire loom tool. Yeah, it's a wire loom tool. Yeah, it's one of these. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a bunch of different designs for them, but they're so okay. Yeah, there's a few different types of tools. They're relatively common-ish nowadays. There we go. I'm just gonna go around you a couple times just to kind of keep it organized for now. There we go. Okay, so that's that. There we go. So, oh, I still have that on. Okay. Look kind of sus. Everything's sus. Everything is sus. Everything is sus. Everything is woke. I don't like it. It's woke. Okay, so now turn this sideways because now we got to put in, go all the way back to the top and put the docking pins in. So pins go in there and then M310. So I think this is going to be a little hard to show on camera. I got a feeling. This part's going to be hard to show on camera. I mean, I can do mobile. That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. So docking pins, docking pin 94. So we need 2 docking pins. And then I also need M310s. Cap heads. So M310 cap heads and docking pins. Okay. Yeah, I'll move it. Just trying to keep everything organized here without mixing everything up. Because the plan today is basically just to get the tool heads done. Get the tool heads done, and I think that's a clean spot to leave off on the build. That's garbage. Turn off the Evo keyboard. No. What was that? I am very forgetful a lot of the times with stuff, unfortunately. Hi. Ooh, there we go. Okay. So, apparently, okay, so fasteners and fixing for the stage can be found in the printhead accessory bags. Fix the docking pin brackets, 2 docking pins. Docking pin, got that and that. Use the included bottle of thread locker to ensure these bolts do not come loose. If you are building the Revo version, print heads to the upper holes. These aren't Revo ones, so I gotta use the bottom holes. Okay. So, I don't have my step stool. So it's gonna be a little annoying. But we're using the bottom holes. And I need to put Loctite. So, I'm gonna get a little baggie here. Little dabble do ya, Loctite. Fortunately, these are not magnetic, which is gonna suck. Loctite. So I'm using the bottom holes. That goes through that hole. There we go. Okay. A little bit of Loctite. Probably using way too much Loctite for a screw this side. There we go. Why is the heat shield under the bed a thing anymore? Because it was used in a time when a lot of beds were just kind of underpowered. So you wanted to keep as much heat into the bed. But nowadays beds have more power to them. They're better designed, they're more efficient. Plus, yeah, you need to think of it, it's a little bit, you kind of have to think about it backwards. You want the printer bed to be dumping more heat into the printer, especially if it's enclosed. That's why Nevermores are a thing. That's why there's a whole system designed for Vorons, and other printers use it now, where you put fans under the bed that literally blow cold air under the bed of the printer, because that forces the heater to pump more heat into the system to heat the air up. Because remember, when a 3D printer company advertises that they have a heater in their printer, and the printer chamber only gets to like 60, the chamber heater isn't there to heat it up. The heater is there to make up for a shitty enclosure. You already have a thing in the printer that's the heater. It's called the bed. You already have, you know, on some printers, a couple hundred watts of heater in the printer already. It's called the bed. So, you know, when companies are like, oh, we have a chamber heater and our chamber gets to 60. Okay, I don't see what the point of advertising that is. It should be advertised as it has a 60-degree chamber. The chamber heater is there to make up for the fact that your enclosure sucks. And you need to dump heat into the system to make up for the heat you're losing. Because like this printer with just the bed and the enclosure was getting 68 Celsius inside the chamber. It didn't need an extra heater. So I don't view a chamber heater as an advertising thing. I just look at the results, which is, okay, it has a 60-degree chamber. That's normal. If you're selling a printer that's enclosed, I should expect the chamber to at least get 50 to 60 just normally. That's kind of standard. Like a Prusa Core 1 by itself gets to 55C in the chamber, which is a little on the cooler side than what I would like to see, but it's consistent and I haven't had any issues. Materials like ABS, the warmer the chamber, the better the results. To a certain point. Okay. So we got our docking pins there. And now we put on the button magnet with an M38. So, where'd that annoying magnet go? So an M38. Two of these. Yeah, with a bunch of insulation and tape. The problem with the bamboo machines is their enclosure, in my opinion, is horribly designed because their electronics are not separated from the enclosure. There's that big hole in the back of the printer. I don't know how it is on the H2D. I didn't really take a deep look at the H2D, but on the X1 and the P1, you have that slot in the back where the bed, the rear bed connector is to the lead screw. Well, guess what? The electronics are right next to that hole. So the electronics sit in the chamber, so you need to have cooling on them. And the poop chute's right there. The X1 and the P1 series of printers, the enclosure is shit, in my opinion. Like, woefully inadequately designed. Like, the reason the X1E has a chamber heater in it is so they can dump heat into the system to get it at least to 60. Probably the same thing as the H2D. There's too many holes in the chamber. The material of the chamber itself is very thin. A lot of heat escapes through it. And there's too many holes. The electronics need to be in a separate, contained box. Whereas they have them literally like just cooking in like the back door. Like the back door is open. So. One magnet. Two magnets. Yeah, look up Deus Vault. Look up Nevermore's. Look up a Nevermore. What a Nevermore is, it's actually a pretty clever system. You have a activated charcoal underneath the printer bed. So one, it cuts down on the smells. And two, it basically turns the entire printer enclosure into a convection oven. So even if you don't want to do it under the bed, if you have a printer like something like this where the bed moves, what you could do is you could have fans on the back. And I've done this on one printer and it works pretty good. You just have some blower fans on the back that just suck air from the bottom and blow them to the top. You want to get the air moving in the chamber so that you don't have like hot and cold zones. Because like, you know, as the printer bed drops, where the heat is in the chamber changes. So by constantly moving the air around, you basically force the bed to dump more heat into the system that circulates and gives you more even heating. Now, you don't want the air moving around the chamber like super fast, right? You don't want to actually have cooling effect. But you want just enough air movement to keep the chamber from having different temperature zones. It's a convection oven. You essentially want to make the printer into a convection oven. Okay. So there we go. So we've got those in, and now we got to put the silicone docks in with M440s. M440. Yes. Chris, the stream times don't change. They don't change, man. All right, so how does these install? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Repeat this process across the docking bracket for the number you are installing. Okay, so. Join the Discord, Chris. I do notifications when I go live. There we go. So I'm assuming these are like the little sockies to make sure that capture the ooze, I'm assuming. There we go. All right, and now we put these up top. Because of last week. There was a stream last Friday, wasn't there? It was last Saturday there was no stream. Last Friday there was a stream. This week, normal stream times. Next week will be normal stream times. Then there'll be 2 weeks of random streams because I'll be traveling both weeks. Rocky Mountain and Sweden. Yeah. I go to the land of beauty pie. So what will you do with the second core one? I don't know yet. After we get it built, it'll probably move downstairs, so I have a core one inside the house as well. I'll probably have it set up for the machines that I have out here in the garage are mostly for ABS printing. If you notice, all my machines I have in my garage out here are enclosed printers and the resin machine. So out here is where I do ABS, nylons, whatnot. The machines I keep inside I use for like PETGs and PLAs because it's inside my house and they don't stink and I don't have to worry about the temperatures as much. So it'll probably be a PLA or PETG core one. Maybe I'll put an MMU on it. We'll see. Okay, so we got that installed. Okay, so now we've built all these. Okay, so now dock the print heads onto the pins, push the PTFE tubing into the extruder, use a cable tie to fix the PTFE tube and the USB cable together. Make sure there is some slack on the USB cable. Okay, now I grab my tool head and we dock it. So here. Oh, that seems to work pretty good. Okay. PTP tube in. Okay. And then we zip tie it up a little bit further up with some slack. And it looks like, which way are they on? They are on the outside of the cable. Oh, wow. There. I need to get a longer. Yes, I know this is awkward. Give me a second. You go there, you go there. Problem is, I can't get that like that. Nope. There we go. Okay. Lock. Haha! Haha! Nope, shit. Haha! I'm a genius. Okay. Go. Just put you over there. Knew that was going to happen. Knew that was going to happen. Okay, and the last one. What are my favorite printers overall? I mean, I'm gonna be biased and say my Vorons, because I'm biased towards Vorons. In terms of commercial machines, Prusas. I've had the least amount of issues with commercial machines with Prusas. I personally think the machines are fine. I just don't like the business practices of Bamboo. So if you're wondering what my opinion on Bamboo, there you go. Creality, I want to see them compete better in the market, because I believe more competition is better for the market. And lately they've been kind of shit in the bed in terms of quality control on machines that otherwise could be pretty capable machines. They just have quality control issues. And also they need to stop faffing about and actually follow the open source licenses with the Clipper firmware that they're not using, but they are using. Okay, and now we do the other end. So should I be zip tying this the whole way around? because it only shows like that first little bit. Cutting access. Yeah, I guess you only have PTFE for the front. Okay. In that case, let's zip tie that and that. Okay. See, I don't know how much tubing I need though. Oh, it does go through the whole thing. It does go through the whole thing. Okay. Yeah, so zip tie the tubing. Okay, so let's do the whole thing. So this will eventually, yeah, this goes to that. Okay. So let's zip tie all of this together. I was actually kind of hoping I would have got a chance to like say hi to Naomi when I was in China, but that didn't happen. Apparently she's doing fine, or at least doing as fine as she can be. So. It's always a bit of a risk when you do the kind of stuff she does. So you go there, you go there. There we go. Where is she now? She's still there. She's just not active on Western social medias, from my understanding. There we go. Okay. So I just want to make sure I have enough. Yeah, that works. Yeah, the government clipped her wings basically for those flew a bit too close to the sun with what she was doing, which sucks. But it is what it is, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. Okay, that one. Yeah, I spoke to somebody who had recently spoken to her when I was there. And apparently she's doing okay. I don't know any exact details. I just know she's doing okay. So I'll take it. I am starving. I am absolutely starving right now. I need to figure out food. What am I doing? What am I doing for dinner, class? What am I doing for dinner today? Something simple. Should I be lazy and just get pizza? I might be lazy and just get pizza. Bacon sandwiches. I've done that. That's what it, okay. Bacon, for those that don't know, the cheat meal for when you're hungover. If for those here, I don't really drink anymore, so I don't have to deal with it. But if you ever wake up in the morning and you're just hungover, get 2 pieces of heavily buttered toast, fry up a bunch of bacon. So heavily buttered toast, a bunch of bacon, another piece of heavily buttered toast, put some ketchup inside too, or you could dip it in ketchup if you want. So just bread, bacon, ketchup, butter. And if you want to be really fat, dip it in maple syrup. That is my, I hate life. Why am I living right now? Give me carbs and fat because I did too much last night. That's my, I done goof last night meal. Just give me carbs, fat, and something sweet. I'm hearing everyone cutting their grass, and it's like, I'm gonna have to cut my grass soon. And it's like, I don't want to cut my grass. I hate cutting grass. See the whole bacon, eggs, toast, that's too much work. Too much work. You partied too hard last night. That's too much work. Fry bacon, toast, done. There you go. Yep. Yep. Almost there. Almost there. Bacon and ketchup, not sure about that. No, bacon and ketchup. Because ketchup is like, you got the vinegariness of it. The tanginess, like the... Go. Okay. So now I got to cut these and put the PTFE tubes in. Where's my fancy cutter? I know I have a fancy cutter for cutting Bowden tubes, but I can never remember where I put it. I have one of those like fancy snip cutters for it, and I always misplace it. So I'll use it, and I'm like, this is great, I'm gonna put it right here so I never forget where I put it, and then I forget where I put it. And considering I don't know where I put my knife, yeah, okay, well, I mean, I have a knife, I've got a bread knife. But where did I put my snip knife? Where did I put it? Is it over here? It's gotta be over here. Is it over here? No, it's not over here. Oh, there it is. Aha, I knew I have a knife over here. The joys of working in multiple areas in the same garage. Okay, so now I need to cut that right there. Let's stick you in. There we go. PTFE tube, continue, snip, and install PTFE tube. Okay. There we go. I will say, I'm not a huge fan of this PTFE tube. This is 2 mil ID. I know it's black and it looks cool. I would have much rather preferred to see 3mm ID Bowden tube, since it is it's just feeder Bowden. It's not actually like pushing filament. So I much prefer the less friction of that Bowden tube to this stuff, but is what it is. Okay. Close your side panel. Oh, we're putting the panel in and put those in. Okay. I think we're in a good spot right here. Let's get that panel. And, what is this? Close your side panel. I don't know which one that is. I think it's this one. Is this the side panel? I think this is it. Yeah, this looks like it. Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. I'm looking, okay. I hope you understand the train of thought that I had. So I'm looking at this. See the cable? See the belt? I'm looking at this and I see these cut out. And I'm like, are the belts supposed to go through these holes here? And I had a little like, uh-oh moment. But then it's like, no, these are actually for the, where's that camera even aimed at? The plugs for the motors. So we're good. All static electricity. Yeah, we're doing pizza tonight. I feel like pizza tonight. Okay, so we need to get M4/8s and M4 T-nuts. So put all these away now. And I think the M4s are all in here. I think these are the M4/8s here. Or T-nuts. I think these are M4/8s. Where's my scale? Uh-oh. Where did I put my scale? Oh, here it is. 4/8, yep, okay. See, this is where this comes in handy. Okay, so now, put you over here, slide you over here. Install all these, install the enclosure, and then the cables go into the base with a zip tie, and then we do the wiring. Okay. Almost done. Almost done. Don't forget, we're going to be doing the draw at the end of the stream. So if you haven't entered for your chance to win some Polymaker filament, we are doing the draw at the end of the stream, which will be after I get this panel on. So I want to hurry up. I already scratched the panel. That's good. I want the panels to be scratched, because by having them scratched, I'm not worried about scratching them in the future. Does that make sense? That should make sense. Although I will say it's going to be annoying to move this printer around now with the panels on, because it's going to be harder to, find somewhere to grab it. Oop. Johan, Mayburn, Maybarm. 55 community memberships. Cheers and appreciate it. Remember, the best way to support the channel, the content I create, and the things I do is to be a channel member or gift memberships to others. Remember, prices are in Canadian. So for you Americans, price is only going up. Buy now, save later. Or buy now, save now. It's going to cost you more later. And I almost stabbed myself. That would have hurt. And if you are a channel member and just got gifted one, check out yesterday's member stream. We built an RC plane that I proceeded to take out and crash. Oh, bloody hell. I hate working with panels like this. There you go. You stay there. Hopefully this can go both ways. It better not be a one-way only type thing. Okay. Now the fun part, lining everything up. So, move you here. So you go there, you line up vertically. Oh, stupid cables here. You know what, I'll just put you there. Damn it, it does go one way. There is a difference. Is there? Am I crazy? There is a difference. Shit. There is a difference. These are different sizes. Shit. I did do it the wrong way. Crap. Yeah, because the motors are offset. One's higher than the other, and I didn't realize that. How many T-nuts? Many T-nuts. I'm not a fan of T-nuts. I hate T-nuts. I much prefer the roll-in nuts. Or D's nuts. Somebody's out there weed whacking it, and it's really annoying to hear. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Ah. My hand dexterity is not what it used to be. There we go. Roll back to the old soundtrack. Yeah, I switch it up. I was doing the synthwave one for a bit. Moved back to the, I think we're doing lo-fi or chill right now. What are we doing right now? What is even playing right now? This is backing tracks. Yeah, this is backing tracks. I switch between backing tracks and I just move around between the playlists. Switch it up, get a little bit of break it up. Hybrid Robotics, thank you for becoming a member. Cheers and appreciated. Can't hear a thing though. It's really quiet, this soundtrack. Or the problem is not all the songs on the soundtrack are quiet. Here, let's go to Stream Beats Lo-Fi. There we go. Nope. Uh-oh. There we go. Snap the plastic. Oh, ooh, my knee snapped. Get an old glass. This sucks. There we go. And come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Oh, yeah, you're not gonna be able to hear I got noise canceling on. So you're not gonna hear like the little, that's half the reason I run noise canceling is because I'm in my garage. You will hear like other noises sometimes. There we go. That makes a bit more sense. There we go. Get in your hole. There we go. There we go. Okay. So now line this up. That looks lined up. Okay. Well, that cracked. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. These crack so easily. Like I have this on the lowest setting and I cracked it. Daniel, thank you for becoming a member. Cheers and appreciate it. Okay, let's see if I can fix this. No, I can't. I can't really. If I take that out. There we go. Yeah, whatever. That'll live. Okay. Got that panel on, and now these go underneath. And that'll be good for now. Because we'll do the wiring for this later. Because we have to do some stuff. I don't want to flip it right now. Because I am starving. So we got 15 minutes left. So if you want to enter to win some filament from Polymaker, do it now. Because we're going to be ending the stream soon. But there you go. Behold, we now have tool heads on it. You're gonna have tool heads. You're gonna have tool heads on this ToolChanger here. Well, we do now. We do now. Is there M4? I have M4 washers, or actually, well, here's the thing. I'm building it as the kit tells me to build it. I do not have anywhere near enough M4 washers, I don't think. I have some, but not a lot. Not enough for all the panels. So you just gotta be careful and not over tighten them. The problem is like the corners, because they're the corners, they don't have a lot of support. The biggest problem is these are V-slot extrusions. So the gap is even wider. So when you tighten down an M4, it's not sitting on metal. You're not compressing metal. You're compressing the plastic, which causes it to bow. And depending on the geometry, it could snap. So what these really should be, personally, these should be not V-slot 2020. It doesn't matter for the build of the printer, but for the panels and whatnot, it does. So these are V-slot. It doesn't matter for the build, but for the paneling it up. And also these shouldn't be M4, they should be M5. M5 button heads spread the load out a bit more. But that is me looking back on it. I'm not the company that builds this printer or sells this printer. So, yeah. And how to tune nozzle offsets, you'd have to calibrate it. You're gonna have to calibrate it. pick up the nozzle or pick up the tool head, do an XY home. So there's your XY calibration. And then you're gonna have to either do using like a camera, like the CXC camera, or some other nozzle camera for calibration, or do a print, or have like a little probe that you ping it off of. There's a bunch of different ways to calibrate it. I'm gonna do whatever they tell me to do. Simple as that. And so they have rails mounted. No, they have the rails mounted on the spacers because now the rails are facing more inward towards the corner of the bed. They have the rail mounted on an extrusion on the back. It's fine there. As long as you use the right size extrusion. You just can't use MGN 9 on V slot, on 2020 V slot. Can't use MGN 9 on 2020 V slot because it'll sit in the slot and it'll rock. It won't sit flat. I made a post yesterday on Twitter, like, I did my taxes, you know, not quite at the finish line, but I got them, what did I post? I was like, not exactly right before the deadline, but last year's taxes are done, not as bad as I thought they'd be, but never as good as you'd hope. At least a bit of anxiety can be shelved for until next year. And then freaking TurboTax, Intuit TurboTax, like, congrats, you dropped this king. It's like, fuck you, TurboTax. You guys, you're TurboTax. You guys are evil as shit. You charge $120 just for the privilege of being a self-employed person to file my taxes. F off. F off. That's, for those that don't know, half the reason the government, you have to do the whole, dog and pony show with doing your taxes is because of companies like TurboTax and whatnot, petitioning and lobbying the government to get rid of like the free government services because they make a shit ton of money off of people every tax season for basically not doing anything. Like every time I do my taxes, it's, I go through the whole TurboTax thing and then I file it and they're like, you owe the government this many monies. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. And then within 2 minutes, I get an email from the government going, you actually owe about this many monies. And I'm like, fucking TurboTax is wrong, as always. So. Like the government, like if you just have a normal job where you get like a T4 in Canada or whatever it is in the US, the government already knows everything. The only difference is you do your taxes in case you have stuff to write off. So, you have a kid in school or anything else you can write off. Yeah, okay, then you gotta actually like do some stuff, but you could still do that stuff through the government. You go on like government web portal, hey, we're the government, you owe us this much for taxes, or you're getting a refund of this much. Is there anything you wanna claim? And then you just go through the thing on the thing, claim anything you can claim. Okay, you either owe this much now or we give you this much now. And remember, you don't want a refund. You also don't wanna owe money. If you do your taxes right, in a perfect world, you should either owe or receive very little come tax season. If you get like, when tax season rolls around, the government's like, oh, you're getting like $2,000 back. And you're like, yay. No, that's wrong. You screwed up. You gave the government too much money last year. And instead of you having that $2,000 to do whatever you wanted with last year, you basically did the equivalent of just buried it in the backyard and dug it up. You gave the government an interest-free loan. Congratulations. You don't want to get a lot of money back when you do your taxes. You want to get just a little bit or owe a little bit. Yeah, I don't even need the tinfoil hat on for that. I like it. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I like getting money too. Okay, let's see. Is there any news in 3D printing going around that I can talk about for the last little bit? Just seeing, let's scrolling through the subreddits. No penalty in being late. Yeah, so the way I do my taxes, so for those that don't know, because I'm self-employed, I don't have like a T4, right? I'm just self-employed. I just do my taxes like, oh, hey, I just made this much money. Like, yes, I have a business license, but it's not like I don't sell anything. I don't have employees. Money just makes its way into my account through various means via Google, PayPal, companies send me money for sponsorships. Like that's how it works. Like I don't get a salary or anything like that. So when I do my taxes, there's several different ways you can do it. I used to do the YOLO. The first year I did full-time YouTube, I did it the wrong way, which actually wasn't that bad, where I basically went the whole year and didn't pay any taxes. I went a whole year not paying any taxes. I just took all the money that I made and I just let it pile up in my bank account. And then come tax time, I went, hey government, I made this many monies, and I held out my pile of money, and the government went, yoink. And they're like, you owe us this many monies. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. But the thing is, it would have been the same if I paid it throughout the year. I just got hit with an interest fee of like 200 bucks. So basically I paid my entire years of taxes lump sum at once, plus like an extra couple $100. So now what I do is I do quarterly. They go, you made this much money last year. We're gonna assume you make that much money again next year. Every quarter, cut us a check for this many thousand. And come tax time, hopefully you won't owe as much as you did. So that's what I do now. So it's actually not that hard. The only downside is the way the government is, I can't set it up to auto withdraw it. I have to remember to log in to my CRA account and do the payment. It's stupid. And it's always funny, about every other year I get a call from the government going, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, YouTube. And they're like, oh, okay. Because they're like, what? Are you required to pay incrementally or you pay a penalty? Technically, if you don't pay it at least quarterly, you owe interest on it. There actually isn't a penalty, at least according to like I looked at my return, there's no penalty on it, but there is interest owing. So because you didn't pay it throughout the year, the government would have made money off of the interest off what you paid. So you owe the interest on it. So depending on what the interest rate is, it could be more, it could be less. This year, it's a little bit more than it was last year because, you know, interest rates have gone up. So the penalty this year, because I forgot to do one of the payments, because I literally forgot to do it, was a little bit more, but it wasn't that bad. Am I claiming for cameras? I claim stuff that I can easily prove because I don't want to deal with an audit or anything like that. So I don't claim like every $2 purchase I do. But basically, I claim anything over like 50 bucks. So yes, I know the little stuff adds up, but the little stuff requires keeping track of a lot of annoying receipts. So I claim travel expenses. So flying to places, because unless the company, like, okay, LDO Motors, for example, is sponsoring my trip to Rocky Mountain. But they didn't pay for the ticket. I paid for my ticket. I paid for my hotel. I paid for my food. They just give me X amount of money to sponsor it all, right? So that covers any travel plus, you know, the sponsoring of the videos. So I claim any tickets I purchase for travel, any hotels for travel. I don't bother claiming food. Any electronics, any big electronics I do. The problem is, or it's not a problem, you can't claim stuff like cameras, but you can claim like the depreciation on the camera, but I don't deal with that. Plus it's all paid for already. Last year I didn't buy any equipment. The only equipment I bought last year was my laptop, and I bought that used through somebody as a private sale, so I don't have a receipt for it. So yeah. They don't give you interest when you're, yeah, that's the thing. That's why you gotta be careful not to overpay your taxes. The problem is and a lot of people, so the thing is, remember, as you make more money, you fall into different tax brackets for the new money. So when you make from 0 to 50, you're in one tax bracket, and then any money you make from like 50 to 75 is a different tax bracket, and then 75 to like 150 is a different tax bracket. But when you, like, if you work at a job, right, every week you get paid, basically you get taxed on that weekly or bi-weekly paycheck, at least how it worked where I worked, and all the jobs I've had here in Canada. They tax you interpolated. So say you make $2,000 on your paycheck, they tax it assuming you made $2,000 every paycheck for the year. And so whatever that would be your tax bracket, they tax you on that rate. So what you see is somebody who's like, oh, I worked a shit ton of overtime and they taxed the fuck out of me. Oh my God, I'm never doing that again. No, you dummy. It's because you worked that much more, so your paycheck that much, say that paycheck was $3,000, they then assume you made $3,000 times paycheck times per year, and now you're in a different tax bracket. But at the end of the year, the government sits down and basically crunches all the numbers as a whole and go, oh, you know, we overtaxed you here, but then we undertaxed you here, and then it evens everything out, and then that's why you either get a refund because, you know, those couple weeks where you did overtime and you made way more money that week, but you still haven't made enough to be pushed into that tax bracket, so you got overtaxed, or you were undertaxed and now you owe more. Like it's the whole, because they're taxing you on the fly, and then they do a look back at the end to balance everything out. So taxes suck, but I'm okay paying with them as long. I'm okay with taxes. I know it's hard to. I know it's weird to hear it. I'm okay with taxes as long as I get a return on my investment. I view taxes as investing in the government. I wish it was better, but you know, I'm putting my money into something. At least give me a return on that investment. I like driving on roads without potholes. I like hospitals being built. I like schools. I like the playground we go to. Like, all that stuff's paid with taxes. I like roads. I like public transport. Which I always find funny when you see the what is it, the freemen, the people that like don't believe the government has any control over them at all, and you don't have to get licenses and whatnot. It's like, oh, you have no control over me. I'm just traveling. It's like, you're on private property. The government owns the road. You don't want to pay taxes, yet you want to use the road. That's a little hypocritical, isn't it? Okay, let's do this giveaway. You got 1 minute. 1 minute to enter for the giveaway. To 10%. No, that makes no sense, Killer Prince. The problem is with that, with things like that, where it's 10% across the board, it disproportionately affects people in worse conditions. It's the same as like, oh, like right now you see people in the States that don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're like, we should get rid of all income tax and it should just be tariffs. So instead of collecting money via income tax, we'll collect money via goods and services purchases. The problem is that disproportionately affects people in less well-off conditions. Because when you make 30 grand a year and you're paying the same income tax on a loaf of bread, or tariff or whatever purchase tax on a loaf of bread, or whatever purchase, that's going to affect you a hell of a lot more than somebody making 300 grand a year buying the same product. So, GST or VAT? We have GST, or HST in Ontario. Well, I think most of the provinces in Canada use HST now, which is like a harmonized sales tax, but it's a mixture of government and provincial sales taxes. I mean, I'm okay with like Canada tax rate. Like the tax rate isn't that crazy in Canada. So what is it? Yeah. So if you make under 57,000 a year, it's only 15%. Then up to anything you make between that amount, it's 20%. And it only goes up. You got to be making over any money you make over $250,000 a year is 33% tax. That's a lot of money. I'm not making $250,000 a year. I wish I was making $250,000 a year. I am not making $250,000 a year. I'm in one of the lower brackets. I'm in one of the lower brackets. And then like another 5 or 10% for Ontario taxes. Yeah, remember, the time that the US economy was doing the best was in like the 50s and the 60s, during the baby boom and all that, post World War II, when everything was doing great for America. Yeah, that's when tax rates for rich people were like crazy high. If you look at the, remember, we're not talking politics, we're talking economics for anyone who wants to complain. If you look at the rate of like inflation and wage growth and whatnot, everything kind of went to shit around Reagan. Everything was going pretty good. The American government had low debt. Inflation was keeping up with wages were rising really good with the cost of living. Everything was going good. And then Reagan did a bunch of shit to help out his rich buddies. And then the lines go like, instead of being all nice and even on the graph, it goes like this. And everything goes to shit. So. Yeah, remember the whole, what did Reagan say? It's like, oh, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. You should never trust that. Yeah, that whole thing was a psychological warfare thing to get you to distrust the government, so you don't trust the government with your money, so that when the government starts cutting stuff left and right, you're okay with it. Yeah, it's all psychological warfare. But anyways, let's give away some filament. Who wants to win some filament? I want to win some filament, but I don't enter because that would be unfair. Accepting responses, no more. Save. Let's do this giveaway. Link to sheet, create. You want the government to help. The government has the largest pool of money of anyone in your country, usually. Most countries. So wouldn't you rather the government have all that money to collectivize and pool resources to buy stuff in bulk and get you the better deal on things like healthcare, insurance, stuff like that? Makes sense. Not everything. Government shouldn't have full control of your life. But it'd be nice, you know, pool your resources. It's like Costco. A lot of the reason stuff's cheaper at Costco is because everyone buys the membership and it helps equalize stuff. Just think of taxes as your Costco membership for your country. Government is bad with money. Government can be good with money, you just need to get the right people in charge. And that's the problem. Nobody wants to vote in the right people in charge. You'd rather vote in the charismatic bad guy than, you know, somebody with like an economics degree who's boring. Governments with money with the right people in charge do good. Look at Norway and Sweden. They have a sovereign wealth fund. Those Nordic countries have sovereign wealth funds with trillions of dollars just chilling because they've been good with their money. They're like, oh, we have oil? Instead of, you know, selling off the oil resources to some companies that are just going to make a shit ton of money and keep it for themselves, let's nationalize that shit and use the profits to fund a bunch of good stuff and invest. Oh shit, that's a good idea. So you can do good stuff with money. The problem is you just need to have the good people in charge that know what they're doing with the money. How many people do we have? 278. Yeah, and yeah, oh yeah, people, like, I hate it right now where you're seeing like, oh, the Postal Service wastes money. The US military wastes a shit ton of money. It's a government service. It's not meant to be profitable. Okay. Can anyone name anything that was once run by the government that's been given over control to a company where things turned out better? Every time I see it, it doesn't turn out good. So, okay, moving on. How this works, if you win, you get a spool of filament from Polymaker. But if you are this lucky ball right here, you also win a free hat. Mikik, if you win, you get a free hat along with your spool of filament from Polymaker. So remember, exclamation mark zoom zoom makes you go faster. Exclamation mark gullible makes everyone else go slower. And if you ring the bell, like the smash button, and are subscribed to the channel, it actually greases your ball up to makes it go even faster. Yeah, free hat. Vim, what are you doing down here, Vim? Illuminated Technologies, what are you doing over here? The goalpost is that way. You're going the wrong way, man. You and James, what are you guys doing? Just hanging out in the field? Okay, well, let's see who's in the lead. Who's in the lead? Same principles, why wouldn't it? Yeah, people did it to Venice. So why didn't they do it to the Nordic countries then? Nordic countries seem to get away with it. Vim's over there touching grass. Lance is in the lead. Oh, don't mess it up, Lance. All I know is, put it this way. I'm not an economic economist. I'm assuming most of the people in chat aren't economists. Did Tony stealth? Nope. Oh, who's gonna win? It's gonna be Lance. There you go. There you go. Lance won. Congratulations, Lance. You have won yourself a spool of filament from Polymaker. You will get an email from me after the stream ends with information on how to collect your filament from Polymaker. Congratulations. Golf claps in chat. Yeah, you're in chat. Congratulations, Lance. Okay. So main menu. Where'd my mouse go? Oh, there it is. The joys of multi-monitor setups. Losing your mouse. Okay. There you go. Word of advice. If you're not an expert in a subject, don't speak on it. But I'm not an expert in it. So what I do is I watch people who I believe are experts on it, or at least have some knowledge about it and can articulate points. What you don't do is listen to a podcast bro. Because if a podcast bro is known as, they're just asking questions and they're just letting people talk, then their opinion doesn't matter because they're not an expert in it. They're just having random people on there rant about shit. And if your entire podcast is just having people on rant about shit, then nobody's opinion matters. He just listens. He's just listening. He doesn't know. He's just letting people talk. And yeah, so he's not an expert. He's just a random dude. He could be anyone. So what does his opinion matter? Anyways, that was fun. Okay. This is looking pretty good. This is looking pretty good. The docking mechanism for the dock is just magnets, but it should be pretty good. And then this just kind of comes up and grabs it. Yeah, nice. This should be a pretty good setup. This should be a pretty good setup. Hopefully. Hopefully everything should be good here. So next stream, we do a bit of wiring. I forgot to run this wire through that, so I'm gonna have to take that whole wire loom apart to fix it. Great. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Opinions are. Yeah, I just really don't like the whole, oh, podcast bro said this, therefore it must be true. And it's like, why are you listening to podcast bro's opinion? Podcast bro is a blank slate. So why does the opinion matter? Investing in companies. Yeah, but do they get a return in their investment? All I know, it's better than having Exxon run everything. What do I get from Exxon controlling the oil fields? Anyways, let's call it there. Tomorrow night, we're gonna do some random stuff. Hopefully, if tomorrow's stream is on, it might not be, we'll see. And then Tuesday, we will continue on with the Prusa. So it is the weekend. There should be a video out Sunday. It'll be out early tomorrow for channel supporters. I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, so we're gonna call it there. I am going to go make lunch for the family because I am absolutely starving. Shout out to MakerTech 3D for sending over the PROFORGE 300 kit. If you do want to get one of these yourself, there is a link in the video description. YouTube disclosure, this kit was provided to me free of charge for this build series. I did not pay for it, but I do get to keep it at the end of the build series, but I'm not being paid. And shout out to Polymaker for the spool of filament we gave away this stream and every stream. Links for all of them and more, video description. Affiliate links don't cost you anything extra. Long way in supporting the channel. Some of them use code Canuck, like on GamerSup, to save some money. And for those that donate to the channel, gifted memberships to others, or became members of the channel yourself, I thank you. Would not be able to do the things I do, create the content I create without your continued support. You make it all possible. I'm Taylor. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. Wash your hands, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.